Today, Pigeon Pagonis does not identify as he or she, preferring to be called they.
I thought I was a girl. I mean, that's what people called me, she, and I was Jennifer. That's my real name.
Until the age of 18, Pagonis identified as female, living as a girl and believing she was one. But Pagonis says her parents said she wouldn't develop like other girls and could never have children.
That never sat well with me. I think once I was told I couldn't do that, I wanted that more than anything, even if I didn't want to do it in the
Did you want to know why?
They told me why. It was a lie, but they told me why, and I believed it.
What did they say?
They told me I had cancer when I was born in my ovaries, and I was smart enough to know what the ovaries were and where they were and what cancer was, and I believed them.
But Pagonis never had ovaries, and in fact, genetically has XY chromosomes, typical in boys. Doctors insisted surgery would be necessary to correct the ambiguous nature of Pagonis' genitals. The condition is known as intersex, or disorders of sex development, DSD.
I think it's either an individual that is born with not just uniform male or female parts, but they can have combinations of both.
About 1 in 2,000 Americans are born with ambiguous genitalia. Usually, doctors and parents would decide what sex a child should be, and then the ambiguous genitalia would be surgically modified to resemble that gender. In Pagonis' case, that meant removing internal testes at 13 months of age, and essentially surgically creating a vagina when Pagonis was 11 years old.
I wish with all my being and heart that they would have left me exactly like how I was born.
Do you feel like you were cheated?
Yeah, I feel like I was cheated.
Without sex organs, some intersex individuals like Pagonis must take a balance of estrogen and testosterone hormone pills for the rest of their lives.
If I don't take them, I get like hot flashes and osteoporosis and all that stuff.
It was the scariest decision of her life, says Liz, who asked us not to use her real name or show her face. 2 years ago, her son was born with ambiguous genitalia, which she and her husband chose to modify with surgeries within their son's first year. Do you worry that, as he grows older, he may have questions about this and question the decision you made?
Yes, I worry all the time, but we were willing to take that risk to make him look as normal as possible. And until this day, I do not regret the decision that we made.
When you found out that he had ambiguous genitalia, what was your biggest concern?
Will he be a normal boy? Will he be able to function like normal boys? Will he ever have children? There is really, I don't think, a guarantee. It's a let's hope, I believe.
Choosing surgery at this early stage is controversial. Activists and bioethicists say individuals should be consulted once they are old enough to choose for themselves.
We're very bad at predicting how the patient is going to identify sexually. Is the patient going to identify in a more male role or in a more female role? And that kind of choice, it seems we've learned, is best left up to the patient, him or herself.
It's one reason a program at Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago began what it says is a more holistic approach to intersex and DSD treatment. The Gender and Sex Development Program at Lurie includes consultation with urologists, surgeons, and psychologists.
So it's more of a patient and family-centered approach as opposed to a more of a physician-centered approach where we made
But there's got to be a balance struck between
Sure.
deciding to undergo surgery for a child early on who really can't consent to it, and the balance that a parent has to have in terms of them feeling comfortable with, I have a boy or I have a girl.
Correct.
How do you deal with that issue when it comes to deciding if a surgery is right to do?
There's no truly right or wrong decision. The decision that's most appropriate is the one that they feel most comfortable with. And in a perfect world, we probably wouldn't ever do surgery early on unless there was some medical reason that it had to be done.
The things that I've been learning is that...
Still, Pagonis, now an intersex activist, says nobody but the child should have the right to decide whether to have surgery.
Because they took out my testes without asking me as a kid, And I think these hospitals should be putting money into a fund for us to give us reparations for what they did to us. And also, they should be signing a document that says we're not going to do these surgeries anymore.
It's a debate that continues to raise questions about informed consent, gender identity, and patient rights.